Okay guys, so today's video is going to be shorter than my usual reviews, mostly because this isn't a deep dive into this movie or a complex essay on it. This is just a movie I wanted to talk about, so without further ado, let's get into it. There are a lot of comedies, there are a lot of book-to-movie adaptations, but what happens when you mix the two together? Well, you get something like 2010's Gulliver's Travels starring Jack Black, a film that was not well received when it came out. In fact, it was a straight-up disaster, flopping big time at the box office and getting trashed by critics and audiences, and was the film that almost ruined Emily Blunt's career. After her success with 20th Century Fox with The Devil Wears Prada, she was offered the role of Black Widow in Iron Man 2 by Marvel, but 20th Century Fox insisted that she do Gulliver's Travels instead, to which she reluctantly agreed. Thankfully, though, her career is far from over, as she has since become one of the most beloved actresses of our time. But this was not a good time for her. But anyways, back to the movie. This film still gets a lot of hate today and is regarded as one of the worst book adaptations of all time, but I don't think it's that bad. Sure, it's nothing groundbreaking or even amazing, but it's a solid comedy and definitely an enjoyable watch, especially if you're a Jack Black fan. So let's talk about why the 2010 Gulliver's Travels is overhated. So Gulliver's Travels is based on the book of the same name by Jonathan Swift. It featured a guy named Gulliver who would come across weird societies and creatures, such as the tiny people of Lilliput and intelligent animals. There have been adaptations of this book before, a couple live-action versions, and an animated adaptation produced by the now-defunct Fleischer Studios, who produced the Popeye and Betty Boop cartoons. 20th Century Fox showed interest in turning this into a wacky comedy with the help of 21 Laps, Dune and 1492 Pictures, who produced The Night at the Museum movies. They cast Jack Black, Amanda Peet, Jason Segel, Billy Connolly, Emily Blunt, Chris O'Dowd and T.J. Miller. The story of the film: a guy who works in the mailroom has a crush on a coworker and tries to ask her out but just can't find the courage to do it. So he makes up a lie that he's a writer, and he goes on a journey to the Bermuda Triangle to write an impressive article which he hopes will score him a date with her, but gets caught up in a funnel cloud whirlwind which lands him in the miniature kingdom of Lilliput. They don't like him at first and think he's a threat, but after he saves the king, he is proclaimed a hero. He tells them he is a leader of his own kingdom and becomes their protector. He befriends a resident named Horatio who has a thing for the princess. Gulliver teaches him how to woo her, which he does, which causes conflict between her and her betrothed, General Edward. He leaves after the wedding is called off and joins forces with their enemies and exposes Gulliver's lies. He then gets banished, which results in shenanigans. His love interest figures out he was lying and goes searching for him, leading to her being captured. Gulliver comes back and saves the day, which ends in a dance party. Horatio and the princess get together. Gulliver and his love interest get together and they go their separate ways and live happily ever after. This is basically your typical story setup. The main character starts off a loser. He goes on a journey. He lies and makes himself seem greater than he is. He forms bonds with people. He makes positive changes. The bad guy comes and exposes his lies. Everybody hates him. He gets cast out only to come back later and save the day, get the girl and ride off into the sunset. This is not anything we haven't seen before. But that doesn't make the movie terrible. A movie can have a generic plot as long as it's executed well. Is it? I think it's executed well enough. There's certainly a lot of things that hold it back from being a great movie. Some of the references to other pop culture media like Avatar, Star Wars and Guitar Hero are pretty polarizing, and the humor is incredibly juvenile and lowbrow like in any typical Jack Black comedy. But the characters are likable and you do want to see them make it out okay. The scope of everything is really good, like how Gulliver takes out the enemy armada by absorbing cannonballs and flinging them back at the ships, and how the giant house is this massive place even Gulliver is small in. The robot is also really cool. The final battle is incredibly tense, and you're on the edge of your seat when Gulliver is fighting this thing. The song at the end, "War What Is It Good For," is also incredibly catchy, so much so I was humming it for 2 days after I watched it. This movie is honestly pretty good. It's not the best and it's certainly not in my top 10 favorite comedies of all time, but for what it is, it's an enjoyable movie. I wondered why it got so much hate. I think it's because people were constantly comparing it to the book. Now, I've not read the original book, but like a lot of other adaptations, I'm sure it took some liberties, and people that are that into the source material tend to get mad when a studio changes certain things. The book wasn't that serious. It was just a series of encounters Gulliver had with strange characters, so I don't think it's that deep. Maybe it's because Jack Black's shtick was starting to get old around that time, kinda like Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey, and because of that they just didn't care for it. Or maybe it was all the gross-out jokes, especially where Gulliver has to pee on the castle to put out the fires. Yes, that really happens in this movie. I don't know, but I personally think that the hate this movie got and continues to get is way too over the top. Is it great? No. Is it a masterpiece? No. Is it a great adaptation? Probably not. Is it one of Jack Black's best? Oh heck no, there are much better films in his filmography. But it is a fun, enjoyable, entertaining comedy that is a good time regardless if you're familiar with the source material, and I'd recommend at least one watch. It's not a must-see or anything, but if you decide to watch it, it's not the worst thing in the world. You're bound to like at least a few things about this movie. Anyways guys, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.